On the World News tonight from Baba Bagede Imo Television, first the headlines. Bring it down. Sanusi sends message to CBN governor on inflation. Cardozo replies, make promises. EFCC fails to produce Emefiele in court. EFCC under Olukayode's watch set to depart from ugly past. Metu. Drug war, 42 barons, 32,000 others arrested in 34 months. Akit State Independent Power Project begins operation. On sports, take every game like cup final. Aloy Agu advises Super Eagles. I am Morire Rabina Lawal, the news in detail. Lamido Sanusi, the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN), has urged the current CBN governor, Olayemi Cardozo, to tackle the increasing inflation. Sanusi gave this advice when he visited the CBN headquarters in the company of Ibukun Awoshika, chairperson of the Impact Investing Advisory Board. During the visit, Sanusi also called for long-term planning and urged fiscal authorities to prioritize agriculture and education, particularly for girls. The former CBN governor's call came at a time when inflation in Nigeria stood at 26.72% as of September 2023. The bank's activities have a massive impact on the lives of Nigerians, and many people often do not know the impact of a central bank's work until a central bank fails. I urge the new leadership at the CBN to work persistently at driving down the rate, which has severely impacted the wealth of individuals. In response, Cardozo pledged to prioritize a core mandate of price stability during his leadership at the CBN. He expressed his determination to make the bank more impactful by curbing inflation and positively affecting people's lives. Cardozo also extended a warm welcome to the impact investing companies' visit and collaboration, acknowledging their capacity to catalyze positive change in Nigeria's economy through strategic investments. The former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Godwin Emefiele, didn't make it to the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory today. This is despite an order of a trial judge Justice Olukayode for the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) to produce him in court for hearing of his motion on fundamental rights enforcement. Justice Adeniyi had last week ordered the anti-graft agency to release the former CBN governor unconditionally or produce him in court for hearing of a motion determining his bail. This follows his arrest by the EFCC shortly after his release from the custody of the Department of State Services (DSS) in late October. The court has now adjourned till Wednesday, November 8th for a hearing of Emefiele's motion on notice and for his counsel to provide additional documents. It also restated its November 2nd order for Emefiele's unconditional release or to produce him in court on Wednesday. Former National Public Security Secretary of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), Olisa Metu, has said the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC), under the leadership of Ola Olukoyede, is set to depart the ugly past. According to him, the plan by the new EFCC chairman to align the agency's operation with the rule of law concerning rights of suspects is the best approach to the war against corruption in the country. In a statement he issued on Sunday, the former spokesman, who endured a torrid time in the hands of the anti-graft body on corruption charges that were later dismissed by the court, described the declaration as a step in the right direction. He commended the President Bola Tinubu-led administration for its move to restore rule of law and democratic tenet into law enforcement, adding that Nigerians expect that the declaration marks EFCC's departure from the past, especially when it's trade to become a tool for harassment and political persecution instead of focusing only on the fight against economic and financial crimes in the country. The former opposition spokesman lamented that many innocent Nigerians, including himself, were subjected to horrible and dehumanizing persecution, blackmail, and media trial by the former EFCC leadership in violation of the rule of law and best practices in the course of investigation, arrest, detain, and prosecution over trumped-up charges by immediate past administration. It has indeed raised confidence that the EFCC under a new leadership is set to depart from the ugly path, especially when it's trained to become a tool for harassment and political persecution. I recall how I was arrested by the EFCC. In a bid to rid the nation of all abuses and businesses involving illicit drugs, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (NDLEA) has arrested 42 drug barons and 1 drug baroness in the last 42 months. The latest of these arrests was billionaire Idumota trader Nwoha Anayo, who was nabbed at Onitsire, Abuja area of Surulere, and 12,700 pills of tramadol recovered from him on October 31. Earlier in the same October, operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency took into custody 2 wanted heads of transnational criminal organization with multi-billion naira worth of illicit drugs and assets seized from them after weeks of intelligence-led operations across the country and outside Nigeria. The arrest of the wanted drug lords came on the heels of the interception of consignment of cocaine and heroin buried in the bellies of 2 traffickers heading to Paris, France, and Doha, Qatar, by NDLEA officers at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. Operative at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos, on Tuesday, October 10, succeeded in taking into custody Akim Babatunde Salami, the arrowhead of Tajuddin Babatunde Abioye transnational criminal organization. The drug cartel is said to be involved in illicit trade of several narcotics, including cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, and ephedrine between Nigeria, Brazil, Ghana, South Africa, Mozambique, and Europe. He fled Nigeria to South Africa upon the arrest of a member of his syndicate, Suleiman Babatunde Oba, at Lagos Airport on August 25th over an attempt to export 25.10 kilograms of ephedrine to South Africa. Head of another cartel, Okafor Ikechukwu Williams, aka Jantu, and his wife, Okafor Ifeyinwa Grace, were also taken into custody on October 5th, Thursday, when NDLEA operatives raided their hideout at number 9 Awa Street at Gold Palace, Okota area of Lagos, where they recovered 26.566 kilograms of methamphetamine concealed in a blue box and 2 sacks, ready for export to Europe and Asia. The Akit State Independent Power Project has commenced operation with test running as part of effort at addressing the shortage of electricity supply to the state. The State Commissioner for Information, Taiwo Olatubosun, who made this known during a facility tour of the power plant station in Ado-Ekiti, said that the project, which was initiated by the immediate past administration, headed by Kayode Fayemi and completed by Governor Biodun Oyebanji, was one of a series of interventions to address inherent challenges in electricity supply to the state. Olatubosun stressed that the IPP is currently guaranteeing uninterrupted power supply to the Governor's Office, Government House, State Secretariat Complex, House of Assembly Complex, Ekiti State University Teaching Hospital, and street lights along major roads in the metropolis, among others. According to him, the development is geared to boost industrialization and socio-economic development, as well as enhance good governance, noting that not doing away with editorial ubiquitous generators with attendant huge cost of diesels and environmental pollution used to power public facilities like streetlights and government offices would block a lot of wastages, reiterating the commitment of the Governor Biodun Oyebanji administration to the general well-being of people in the state. Olatubosun noted that the completion of the power plant came in the heels of several other similar interventions, including the restoration of electricity at Ekiti East and Bonyi Ayekire local government areas within his 1 year in office after 15 years of blackouts. At least 2 people were feared dead and 1 critically injured as fire razed a part of the Embassy of Canada in Abuja today. According to eyewitnesses, the incident occurred while the embassy's power generating plant was being repaired and fire broke out from it. That fire outbreak led to the death of 2 persons, while 1 person was critically injured and another person escaped through the roof of the powerhouse. Sources said the victims were part of the technical crew attending to the generating set when the incident happened. The sources stated that the dead victims were blown out of the powerhouse due to the force of the sudden explosion from the generating set. Some staff who ran out of the embassy for refuge outside the gate told correspondents on ground that fire broke out at about 12 p.m. as firefighting trucks moved in to extinguish the inferno. Information gathered that the staff of the embassy were being moved to safety under trees and other space in the building enclosures as an ambulance drove in to evacuate those affected. The head of operations of the FCT fire service, Amiola Adebayo, confirmed the incident, saying that some victims have been rushed to the hospital. But Adebayo did not disclose the cause of the fire incident or whether the affected victims were foreigners or Nigerian citizens. The management of Dangote Industries Limited has debunked the allegation that the company is being investigated for alleged illegal foreign exchange deals and money laundering running into $3.4 billion through the Central Bank of Nigeria under the leadership of the embattled former CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele. The management of Dangote Industries stated that rather than engage in illegal foreign exchange deals and money laundering as being alleged, the company's Pan-African operations have repatriated over $576 million in Nigeria. In March 2016, there were media reports alleging that Dangote Cement engaged in economic sabotage through fraudulent foreign exchange and that monies went from the company in question to other sister Dangote companies outside Nigeria. The reports, which were published as editorials, further stated it is estimated that almost $3 billion, if not more, has been taken out of Nigeria through this means. This encourages round-tripping and, in effect, money laundering since there is no proper documentation. Though the publisher of the story in 2016 tendered public apologies to Dangote Industries, saying the advertorial was sponsored and that they were never aware that the report was awful to the company. The allegation resurfaced recently following the ongoing probe of the CBN transactions under Emefiele. However, in reaction, the management of Dangote Industries said the allegation was only peddled out of malice by a competitor masquerading as a concerned Nigeria in 2016, describing it as a falsehood that is detrimental to its corporate reputation. As regards the coming election in Kogi, Imo, and Bayelsa, the Nigerian Army has conducted a show of force in Kogi State ahead of Saturday's governorship election. A statement signed by the Acting Deputy Director, 2 Division Army Public Relations, Lieutenant Colonel Charles Ekiocha, on Monday said that the exercise was a remarkable display of readiness and commitment to ensuring a safe and secure environment for the upcoming off-cycle governorship election in the state. According to him, the combined force for Operation Safe Conduct in Kogi State was officially flagged off with a show of force by General Officer Commanding GOC 2 Division Nigeria Army, Major General Bamidele Alabi. Ekiocha set the flag off at the 12th Brigade Nigeria Army Parade Ground, Chari Gumeri Barracks, Lokoja, signpost the readiness and preparations for Nigeria Army as over the years put in place in support of other stakeholders in the electoral process in Nigeria and Kogi State in particular. It also emphasized the importance of Operation Safe Conduct in preserving the peace and security of the state during the electioneering period, as well as ensuring the people of Kogi State can exercise their right to vote in a safe and secure environment, he said. You are watching the world news on Baba Bagede Imo Television. Next to come. The South African government said on Monday today it would recall all its diplomats from Israel to signal its concern over the situation in Gaza. Bodos Shaveni, a minister in the president's office, told a press briefing that all diplomatic staff in Tel Aviv would be asked back to Pretoria for consultation without providing further details. We are extremely concerned at the continued killing of children and innocent civilians in the Palestinian territories, and we believe the nature of response by Israel has become one of collective punishment, Foreign Minister Neladi Pandor told a later press conference. We felt it important that we do signal the concerned South Africa while continuing a call for a comprehensive cessation of hostilities. Fighting has raged in the Gaza Strip for about a month since Hamas militants launched an unprecedented attack over the border from the territory into Israel on October 7. More than 1,400 people, most of them civilians, have been killed in Israel since the attack, during which Hamas took more than 240 people hostage. In response, Israel has relentlessly bombarded Gaza Strip and sent in ground troops with the Health Ministry in Hamas-run Palestinian territory, saying more than 9,700 people have been killed, also mainly civilians. Pretoria has long been a vocal supporter of the Palestinian cause, with the ruling African National Congress (ANC) party often linking to its own struggle against apartheid. Finally, lastly on sports on the world news. Former Nigerian international Aloy Agu has advised Super Eagles of Nigeria not to underestimate any team in Group A if Nigeria must qualify for the knockout stages of the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. Recall that Nigeria has been pitted alongside host Ivory Coast, Guinea-Bissau and Equatorial Guinea in Group A of the competition, with the team set to kick off their campaign against Equatorial Guinea on January 14, 2024. Agu in the chat said and warned the Super Eagles to take every game like a cup final. The statement goes, I have the two friendly games that the teams played against Saudi Arabia and Mozambique, and I'm impressed with the hunger and determination from the players. With just few months to the commencement of the competition next year, I feel very optimistic about the chances of the Super Eagles at the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations in Côte d'Ivoire come January 2024. The players must take every game like a cup final and play out their art for Nigeria. The Nations Cup, which features 24 teams and runs from January 13 up till February 11, will see the winners and runners-up in each of the groups, 6 groups plus the best 4 placed teams reach the knockout stage. Nigeria in Group A, Ivory Coast, Guinea-Bissau and Equatorial Guinea. With our sports story, we've come to the end of today's world news. Before we go, some headlines. Bring it down, Sanusi sends message to CBN governor on inflation. Cardozo replies. EFCC fails to produce ex-CBN governor Emefiele in court. EFCC under Olu Koyode's watch set to depart from ugly past. Message. Drug war, 42 barons, 32,000 arrests in 34 months. Akit State Independent Power Project begins operation. And on sport, we brought to you 2023 AFCON in Côte d'Ivoire next year. Take every game like cup final. Aloy Agu advises the Super Eagles of Nigeria. For more updates of our broadcast on YouTube, our handle is Babagwagede Imo Television. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell, select option all to access all of our broadcasts. On Facebook, Bagede Imo with Alawi Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. For advert placement of your goods and services, coverage of events and function, please dial the phone number streaming on the screen. Thank you for watching. I am Mori Rebila Lawa. Good evening.